Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at that snowstorm that's ongoing, and then we're also going to talk about multiple upcoming potential snowstorms in our future. This winter isn't closed out yet. March tends to be a little bit of a winter month as well, obviously, so we have still some stuff on the way that we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. And I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below, and then our very awesome channel membership, which can be found right next to that subscribe button. Now, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, when do you think our next snowstorm is going to be? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's dive right into things, and as you can see, we have that snowfall that we predicted going on for Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia. You can see that extends down south into those Appalachian Mountains, and actually you can see some snow showers developing there for southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina. I don't really know if any of that's hitting the ground because it's not really over my exact location yet, but we will see if that does occur. There's also plenty of snow showers going on for New England as well. Now, let's just go ahead and dive into Pennsylvania and New York, where we have that heaviest snowfall going on right now. Now, as you can see, a lot of, the western regions there and the central regions of Pennsylvania and New York, especially those mountainous regions, are seeing the heaviest snowfall. Those whites are picking up on the heaviest bands within there. So you can see basically from Rochester, New York, down through into Olean and Corning, and then down through a lot of central Pennsylvania, Altoona there. So some of those more mountainous regions of Pennsylvania are seeing the heaviest showers. Those will make their way further east into the state, eventually Scranton, Allentown, so northern New Jersey as well. Potentially New York City, we've talked about how they'll be right on the fringe of the mixing going on. Binghamton, you're very close to that heavier snowfall. And eventually that will make its way up into New England as well, where we will see also upstate New York, Albany, Glens Falls as well. But eventually Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Maine, they're all going to get in on some of this heavier snowfall going on. Also Syracuse soon as well. So we have plenty of that coming for more of these eastern regions. And then this snowstorm will close out very, very quickly. Again, we're anticipating about 3 to 6 inches to be pretty widespread, but that's about it for this snowstorm. A more moderate to minor snowstorm at this point. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to talk about those potential upcoming snowstorms that could be major at this point. We have a few of those coming up, so we're going to talk about all of that in just a moment. Now we're taking a look at that modeled guidance, and as you can see, this is our European model, and I tried to place this at the timing that is most related to like right where we were just taking a look at the radar and just after that. So as you can see, we are dealing with that snow that is going on for Michigan, Pennsylvania, New York. It is in a similar spot to what we were just looking at. So let's just take this a little bit into the future, and this is going to be about 6 or 7 p.m. tonight from the time I'm making this video. That's going to be Monday, February 22nd. I can't believe we're almost to March and almost to meteorological spring, but it is true, we are almost there. Now we're taking a look at moderate to heavy snowfall there for eastern Pennsylvania, northern New Jersey, a lot of New York, and then New England, like I said. It's actually looking a little bit heavier than what I originally anticipated, actually, as of yesterday. This is looking like maybe some heavier snow coming down for Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut especially, but then they're even in through northern New Jersey. And again, New York City right on that line of mixing. Same story with Philadelphia. It's going to be very interesting because if you guys are just a couple of degrees colder, all of a sudden you're more on the snow side rather than the mixing / rain side. Same story with Boston. So it's all of our big cities here at this point. Right on the fence of just being that snow or rain line. So this is a very interesting situation we find ourselves in, and really that storm closes out eventually later tonight into tomorrow morning, and this is tomorrow morning, Tuesday, February 23rd at about, I would say, 6 a.m. or so. And as you can see, actually another snow system moves in through the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes, and we see a lot of that lake effect snowfall, especially for Michigan there. But as we take this a little bit forward, that does move over into New York as well, actually, and Pennsylvania, bringing some snow showers and snow squalls to the northeastern United States. So that's going to be like our second snow system that's coming up, but really this one is not looking major by any means. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about those ones that could be major in just a moment. Now, here's our next shot at more of a major snowstorm, and as you can see, by the time we're reaching very early on Wednesday morning, this is only 2 days from the time I'm making this video, and this would be probably about 5 a.m. A little bit of a clipper system comes through, and this one could be a moderate snowfall event for sure for Minnesota, Wisconsin, a lot of the Great Lakes, and that's going to come across, as you can see, by the time we're reaching maybe about 1 or 2 a.m. there on Thursday, and it's going to enter into the northeast, the extreme northeast, where I think this could bring quite a significant amount of snowfall actually for the interior New England regions, especially the Adirondack Mountains there, and then our Green Mountains, White Mountains, in northern Maine. That's a very classic area, a very classic snowstorm there. And then, as you can see, by time we reach about Friday morning at about 1 or 2 a.m., we have a storm developing down there for the south central United States. You can see there's a bit of cold air there in place for the eastern United States. It's going to be a pleasant week, actually. That's why that snow rain line was so far north on that one we just took a look at. It's going to be warm. It's going to be really, really nice. But for the south central United States, you can see a lot of rainfall developing, and then that moves up by 6 or 7 p.m. there on Friday into the mid-Atlantic states, where we start to see some snowfall potentially for Virginia and West Virginia. This is going to be a very shifty system. We could see this show up somewhere else over the coming days and shift a lot. But as you can see, by the time we're reaching the early morning hours, maybe 4 or 5 a.m. there on Saturday, February 27th, we see ice. We see snow for a lot of Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania there. This one could certainly be major, especially if it's a little bit colder. I think this is the best shot to be a major snowstorm, actually. And then this moves up into New England, but the only thing is it's a little too warm by the time it reaches up there. But we've seen these models flipping back and forth with this snow system, and I really feel like this one could be a major snow system, actually, for sure. So we're going to watch that one closely. We have quite a bit of time until this one is actually happening. So there's a lot of time for this one to look a lot more major over the course of the next week or so. Now, by the time we are reaching March 1st, you can see at about 1 p.m., that's my birthday, by the way, we can see that another storm is developing for a similar region, actually, to that one we just took a look at, the south central United States especially. We see the Four Corner states getting some snowfall there. Now, eventually, by the time we're reaching about 6 a.m. or so on Tuesday, March 2nd, you can see that this one moves up into the plains where we're seeing heavy snowfall. So this one also looks like a very major potential snowstorm there. This is very far out, though, so I want you guys to keep in mind, take this one with a grain of salt. We're very far from the system. I'm mostly just showing this to show you guys that there's snowstorms that are potentially coming up, some snow chances, but don't really pay too much attention to the fine details because this is going to change 1,000 times until this actually happens. So there's a lot of things that could change. By the time we're reaching about 1 or 2 a.m. there on Wednesday, March 3rd, you can see that this reaches into the Ohio Valley and the Great Lakes. This could be hundreds of miles different from what this is showing right now. And then eventually this becomes a Miller B nor'easter, which would be a major snowstorm. If we get into a pattern that's sufficient for Miller B nor'easters, I expect many major storms to come through, major snowstorms, that is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on. We're going to take a look at the total snowfall map from our European model on the entire model run, so the next 10 days, 240 hours, and then our European ensemble model, and then actually our European weeklies as well, which you're going to want to take with a grain of salt. But all of those things are coming up in just a moment. Now, this is the entire European model run here at this point. You can see some pinks going on. That's from our 2 major snowstorms that this model shows at this point, mostly. So for the plains, the Rockies, and through the Great Lakes, there's one of those at the very, very end. And then we have that one that heads up into the northeast as a pretty major snowstorm as well. So there's 2 potentially upcoming major snowstorms we're going to be watching very closely. On our European ensemble model, it is calling for a lot of snowfall as well over the course of the next 10 or 15 days or so there. And then our European weekly model, this one actually is 32-day snowfall forecast. You want to take this with a grain of salt. A lot of people use this map and get all hyped about it, but it really is a 1-month snowfall forecast, which is not a good indicator of much of anything. The only thing we can really pick up from this is it calling for a snowy pattern or not? Don't pay too much attention to the amounts at all. But where you see those pinks, that's where it's calling for probably multiple snow events to take place. So there is still multiple snowstorms on the way. As we close out February, as we enter into March, we could get a few more snowstorms. And we know this because this happens every single year usually, unless we see a very warm March, which I actually am expecting quite a bit of a warm March. But you'll have to wait for my March forecast, which is coming out in probably about a week. So we will talk about a lot of that then. I hope you're excited for that video as well. Anyway, for our confidence tab, we're at a 3 out of 6. We're talking about a lot of, things that are a little bit further out. So this isn't a particularly high confidence video by any means, but I'm fairly confident that we have multiple snowstorms still to come as we close out the winter time. Anyway, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, how much snowfall do you expect to be the maximum anyone sees with this ongoing snowstorm, the one we took a look at on the radar in the beginning of this video? And Grady Wilson said maximum of 9 inches. I think that's a very good guess there by Grady Wilson. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Sebastian Tao, John Benbenick, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, and Aiden Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons: Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Flego, Gary's, and John Quilisi. If you would like to be a part of this patron end screen of the day, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. And anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.